first of all, let's look back at Tuesday's game against Inverness Caledonian Thistle. To begin with, a 1-1 draw away from home. Do you feel that it was a good point gained in the end?
I think going up to Inverness, it's always a point gained, and taking something from the game. Jordan, what was very pleasing was we changed the shape, freshened the team up. We're going to have a busy schedule over the January period, and I thought we started the game very well, created a number of good chances in the first half, and went undeservedly 1-0 up. Possibly could have been more. Inverness came at us in the second half and probably scored when they were having their better spell in the second half, but again we showed that side to us, the resilience, and we didn't crumble and gave ourselves an opportunity to bring on substitutions to go and try and win the game in the end.
Could you talk us through the way that you set the team up formation wise? To begin with, obviously different personnel came in, but I think Lewis Mayo maybe played just in front of the back four, for example. So was it a normal formation, but maybe just different players playing in different positions? Would that be fair?
Yeah, we changed it up a little bit in terms of the threats that Inverness carry, boys coming into pockets. Keaton's, if he usually plays now, I know he didn't play the other night, but the reason that we wanted to play Lewis Mayo in there in the sitting role with three sort of narrow midfielders in front of him to go and support the front two, to become a threat ourselves, when we won possession of the ball, and it worked. It did work for us, but what it did allow Inverness was to get into wider areas and put crosses in the box, and that was the only time they sort of tested us in the first half, but we stood up to it. As I say, the second half they had a decent spell, and they brought the boy Kai Kennedy on, who came into wee pockets and started causing us a little bit of problems. But as I say, after losing the goal, I thought we managed to turn the game in our favour again, and we went to try and win all 3 points.
It must please you that you've brought in guys like Lewis McCann and Kevin O'Hara, who's put in shifts up front and gave you positive headaches for this weekend, as well as guys like Lewis Mayo maybe stepping into a different position in the pack, but again showing up well. Yeah,
it was a calculated gamble in terms with Lewis Mayo. We had done our homework, we'd spoke to Rangers on that, and we know that Lewis can play that role. He's played that position a number of times for Rangers reserves last season, so with Stephen Whittaker, who had again shown his desire to play for the club after an ankle knock, we felt it was right to rest him after the Arbroath game, albeit that he was on the bench for us. Lewis McCann and Kevin O'Hara led the front line brilliant for us the other night, and as I say, we decided it was time to take Declan and Dom Thomas out to try and freshen the team up. But the substitutions that we made, the players that we had to replace, was purely on a positive the other night, because they all contributed to making sure that we came down the road with something.
Kyle Turner said in recent weeks in interviews he's desperate to go off the mat this season, get a goal and really start kicking on that side of things, so he must have been pleased to see him not just get in the box and get another shot away, but this time finally find the back of the net. Yeah,
and I think the smile said it all after he scored the goal. It was a great finish. He's put onto his left foot and he put it by Ridgers with pace. Didn't want to bring too much attention to it, because we see that on a daily basis on the training ground. Kyle's excellent finisher with both feet, and it's something that when you're going through that wee spell, I think you go back to last year against Alloa, was his last goal for the club. So I know there's been an element of frustration with Kyle that he's not scoring as many goals as he would like, but hopefully that will now see him in a veiny form where he starts adding more goals to his game.
The Inverness game was the last match of 2020 for us. I know it's been kind of cut short at the start of the year in terms of the coronavirus pandemic, but looking at 2020 overall, we played 25 competitive games. We won 13, we drew 8 if you include the St Johnstone game in terms of being a draw, and lost 4. Overall, that must please you that we've not just made progress, but we're not losing that many games, and we're winning a lot more of them as well.
Yeah, I think that, and that's the vital bit that you just said there, Jordan. We're starting to win games that we were drawn, and we're starting to get draws in games that we were losing, and so that can only hold well for the future. But for as much as it's been a testing year, especially since going into the pandemic away back in March, I do feel that the club's evolving, we're moving forward, and there's a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes. The supporters will see my face on camera and speaking to the press on a weekly basis, but there's a lot of hard work that goes on with people that I would personally like to thank and allow this club to grow again.
I was just going to come on to that in terms of off the field as well. It's obviously been a challenging year for society in general, the world in general, but Dunfermline, for them to come through and be in a stronger position, certainly on the park and I believe off the park as well, that must be really encouraging for you and your staff.
It is, but I think anybody that knows me now about the club, you know, from the chairman down, the big thing that I'm about is togetherness and everybody working in the team. We all want to channel our positivity to try and allow this club to grow and move forward, and our aim is we do want to get back in the Premiership, but we're not being silly about it. We're doing it in a calculated manner. We're doing it where we're giving youth an opportunity, along with adding good experience to the squad as well. But you know, you look at the year that you've had yourself as well, Jordan, the support that I know that you've received from people, and that's what Dunfermline is all about to me. You know, you've got a wonderful daughter, and the support that everybody will be here for you over the year, and you know, I just want to make sure that you're in a good place as well, and I know the supporters will be very much behind you, and this, you know, to the chairman right down to the players, that we're here for you, because that's what this club's about. It's about people, and you know, we're thankful of the work that you do behind camera, and long may that continue.
Thanks very much for your kind comments. Moving on to 2021, Braith Rovers at home, you'll be hoping to start the new year in style by getting a victory, but obviously we know how tough a task it will be, having played them just a few weeks ago at Starks Park. Yeah,
and I thought it was a great advert for the Scottish Championship, albeit we went 2-0 down. And I think looking back at the game, Rovers had the better of the first half and we had the better of the second half, so it was a great advert. We find ourselves that we're in second place at the moment. Dundee are now sandwiched between us in third, so the Rovers will come along smarting from the defeat against Queen of the South the other night, but they're an attacking threat. They're a well organised side. John has them playing in a good manner. Paul Smith, I've got a lot of time, as I've said before, are meeting against them at Starks Park, so we'll try and cause them as many problems as we can on the day. We're looking to go and try and win the game, and I said after the game through there, it was a vital point to come back, you know, that they didn't, you know, manage to get on our coattails, and if we can bridge that gap by winning the game, then we're looking forward to a positive start to the new year.
Overall, 2021, you'll be hoping for it to be a similar, if not better year than the one that we've just had. I suppose with the stats I just gave you there in terms of the games that we've won, lost and drawn, you'll be struggling to think how we can maybe better that, but that's the challenge, I suppose, isn't it? And
that's what it's all about. You want challenges in life, and you want to try and prove people wrong. You want to do it in a good manner, and I think we've got a good squad of players that are hungry to be successful. And if we apply ourselves, that's the important word for me as well. The application's been great. There is sometimes an element of luck in football that you get a result, but I'm convinced that because the boys are applying themselves properly on the training ground and in matches, that we're turning, as I've said already, we're turning defeats into draws and draws into wins, and long may that continue.
And just finally, team news ahead of Saturday's game. Fraser Murray back on the bench on Tuesday evening must have been positive for you, so I think that's just Lewis Martin left now on the injury table. How's his rehab coming along? Is he looking likely to be back fit anytime soon?
Unfortunately, Lewis is, you know, it seems to be one step forward and two back. We're actually talking to a specialist, and Jamie the physio at the moment are in dialogue, so we've just got to make sure that Lewis Martin's in a good place in terms of his mentality. He's highly thought of with the coaching staff and the rest of the players, so unfortunately he's going through a very frustrating spell, but he's in good hands, and we'll do our best to get Lewis back as fit as possible.
Thanks for a good 2020 and all the best for next year.
Thanks, Jordan. Cheers.